Who is Lucy? Where does she come from? And what does she have to do with Orphan Black? Let's get into it. So this is a sequel series to the original series Orphan Black. I'm told that we do not have to have seen Orphan Black to get into or appreciate this one. But let me start off with the spoiler warning. This is your spoiler warning. After this point, I'll assume you've either seen this episode or don't mind if I spoil it. I will also use clips from the show, as is allowed under the fair use provision of the copyright laws of 1976. Let's get it. So, right at the beginning, Kristen Ritter, playing Lucy, wakes up in a living room, quote unquote, and a doctor comes in and talks to her. And it's funny because I thought the doctor kind of looked like, for anyone that's seen the old series Orphan Black, I thought she looked like Daphne, from that series. But at the end of this episode, we learn who she really is. And we'll get around to that and why that's meaningful and why it bothers me a little bit. So now, Kristen Ritter, who I love, I think she's a great actress, and she's doing a good job in this. I've only seen the pilot of this episode, of this series. But she speaks sign language in this very well, obviously English, and then she does speak Spanish to several people in this episode, to what to me appears to be fluently. I have actual idea. But she does look, she's in the same silhouette, I don't know if that's the right word, as Tatiana Maslany, who was the lead in Orphan Black. So we quickly get to Kristen Ritter trusting her instincts and escaping the living room, which was locked. And it turns out she was in a hangar or warehouse. And when she escapes, she's near a city. I don't know if that city's supposed to be Toronto in 2050. I know they filmed in Toronto, but I'm not sure if they're depicting it as Toronto. So we jump ahead 2 years, just like that. And Lucy is living in a trailer on Jack's property, and she's having an affair with Jack. Jack has a daughter who appears to be deaf and mute. I'm not sure if she's deaf, but if she's not deaf, you wouldn't sign to her. You would just talk to her and she would sign back. So I think she's deaf and mute. So we establish fairly quickly that Charlie, the daughter, goes through Lucy's things, not in a malicious way, just, so she knows that there's a gun. We establish early that she knows in the breaker box, I think it was, there's a gun, and that's where she keeps her notebook for her research that she's doing. And all we really did in this episode was set up her character, Jack's character, the doctor. So apparently Lucy is good at fixing things, and a guy that knows her, asks her in Spanish, "Can you look at my truck?" And she's looking at the truck, and she gets some of the pink, it was supposed to have been power steering fluid, but it flashes her back to the goo that she saw in the facility she escaped from. Sorry, I did skip that. She did see many body parts and what might have been a body in pink goo, reminiscent of Battlestar Galactica goo. And the doctor did tell her before she escaped that she was 4D printed. That's interesting. So there's something up. She has no memories. She's 4D printed, whatever that means. So now she's working on this guy's truck, and she steps out and gets hit by another vehicle. And they take her to the hospital and run scans. And we're in 2050, so it's in the future, and their scans are, more inclusive than ours are now. And they say she's fine. They didn't find anything strange, and blah, blah, blah. And she asks some strange questions of the doctors. Can these tests tell if I've ever been pregnant or if I've ever given birth? So as it turns out, those scans are logged, and the people she escaped from now know she was in the hospital. So back at her trailer, a guy shows up, the fight commences, and she does pretty well when they fight out into the adjacent orchard where the robot tractors appear to be watering. Maybe spraying for bugs. I'll go with spraying for bugs, because if they're watering, you don't water at night, because then the water just sits on the leaves and molds. When you want to water when the water gets to the ground, it doesn't stay on the leaves. It evaporates in the sunshine. Anyway, enough about gardening. So the guy's about to take Lucy in, and Charlie shoots him in the head with Lucy's gun, which is a pretty big deal, except in this show. So we see Charlie's dad obviously has an issue with the fact that Charlie killed this guy, and Charlie mentions that she has an issue with having killed a guy. But Lucy assures her he was going to hurt me. You were protecting me. You didn't do anything wrong. All you did was protect me. And they have to go because now Lucy knows they're coming. There's more coming. This is the first guy. So they're trying to find someplace safe. They go to an old army buddy of Jack's and leave Jack and Charlie there. And Lucy continues on her own. And at the end of the episode, we see the doctor call her Aunt Cosima, and she identifies herself as Kira. So she is Kira Manning. Everybody that watched the original Orphan Black, Kira Manning is the daughter of Sarah Manning, who was the clone that we followed through the entire Orphan Black show. So Kira is the only successful pregnancy in a clone. And now she's 3D printing people that look suspiciously like her mother and all of her aunts. Aunt Cosima is one of the clones, also played by Tatiana Maslany in that episode, in that series. So I wonder if we're going to have any of those clones show up. And now that we've identified that Cosima is still alive, I'm going to have to go back and watch the end of that series again, because I didn't actually remember anybody surviving, as strange as that sounds. The clones had a short life. Anyway, so we're in this episode, and it was an entertaining episode. There's certainly a lot to do and a lot of places to go. And like I said, Kristen Ritter is fully capable of carrying a series. So I'm happy to have a show to talk about. What do you think of this show? It's on AMC Plus and in their app. Now, this show has already aired in Canada in its entirety. So no spoilers if you live in Canada. We're going to go through it episode by episode here in the States on AMC. The first episode is dropped called Pilot. But beyond that, I think we're doing okay. It's good to be back having a show. Let me know what you think. Let me know what else you're watching. I'm going to put out a video shortly about a couple of the shows that I meant to talk about, but the first episodes were so bad and I didn't have anything good to say that I didn't say anything at all. There's a few of those. So, but this is so far pretty good. I hope it carries on. And if it's like Orphan Black, then the first season will be fantastic. And then we'll see where it goes from there. All right. Well, I appreciate you being here with me. I appreciate you listening to what I have to say. Let me know what you have to say in the comments. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you like these. And I'll see you next time. For now, I'm Sean. This is Sean's Take. See you later.